the laugh lingered longer than it needed to. It hung above the dessert table, over the forks tapping porcelain, over the vanilla and burnt sugar smell of the cake. My sister held her champagne flute slightly away from her body, elbow bent like she'd practiced it in a mirror. She was looking at me, not unkindly, not warmly either. Performing. "You'll never find anyone," she said, smiling so the sentence passed as a joke. "You're too difficult." People laughed because she had said it lightly, because the room had decided she was allowed to say things like that tonight. I nodded. It wasn't exaggerated. Just enough to signal agreement. "You're right." That earned a second laugh, softer, approving. Someone clinked a glass. The moment moved on without me. I stood there with a paper plate that had begun to sag from the heat of my palm. Chocolate frosting smudged the edge. I was aware, in a distant way, of how I must look, unmarried sister, dark coat still on, standing instead of sitting. I hadn't been assigned a seat near anyone who knew me well. That felt intentional, though I couldn't say by whom. My phone buzzed in my pocket, once, then again. The party had been planned carefully. The restaurant was a private dining room off Market Street, all reclaimed wood and low industrial lighting. Her future in-laws were clustered near the window, already talking about schools and neighborhoods, as if the engagement were a formality that unlocked future logistics. My sister moved between groups with practiced efficiency, touching arms, laughing at exactly the right volume. She had always been good at that, at making people feel included while keeping control of the room. I slipped into the hallway, passing the restroom sign without slowing. The buzz of conversation dimmed behind the door. The hallway smelled faintly of citrus cleaner. My reflection in the framed mirror looked calm, almost bored. I pulled out my phone. A message from my husband sat unread. I didn't open it yet. I typed instead. "Reject Hamilton Consulting's $4, 2M proposal. Effective immediately. Please send formal notice tonight." I read it once, not for uncertainty, just to confirm the numbers were right. They were. Then I sent it. We had learned, early in our marriage, that some decisions didn't benefit from discussion. This was one of them. He would understand the timing without explanation. When I returned, they were cutting the cake. My sister had switched to a different smile, soft, sentimental. Someone had started a toast about partnership and compromise. I stood near the back, hands empty now, listening to phrases I'd heard before, applied generously to people who enjoyed them. Her phone rang during the first slice. At first she ignored it. Everyone does, when they're being toasted. Then she glanced down, reflexively, probably expecting a friend. Her expression shifted, not dramatically. Just enough. She stepped away from the table, still smiling, mouthing, "Sorry," to the room. The phone pressed to her ear looked suddenly heavy. I wasn't trying to listen. It happened anyway. "What do you mean withdrawn?" she said, voice low but sharp. A pause. "No, that doesn't make sense." We had a verbal, another pause, longer. "Tonight." "You're joking." Someone laughed awkwardly near me. "Tell them you're busy," a man said. "It's your engagement." She didn't laugh, her shoulders stiffened. "Yes, I understand the process. Who made this decision?" She turned slightly, back to the room now. I caught a fragment of the answer through the open line. Distorted but unmistakable senior partner, final review, conflict of interest. Her eyes scanned the room without landing anywhere. When she hung up, the quiet arrived in stages. People sensed something was off but didn't know where to place it. The toast fizzled out. The knife paused mid-air. "It's nothing," she said quickly. "Just work." Someone asked what kind. Someone else asked if everything was okay. The cake was served anyway, slices handed out like an apology. She found me a few minutes later, near the coat rack. "What did you do?" she asked softly. It wasn't an accusation. It was a calculation. "I didn't do anything," I said. "I stopped something." Her jaw tightened. "You could have waited." "I could have," I agreed. "But then it would have looked like it was about you." She stared at me, searching for something to push against. I gave her nothing. The hallway light flattened us both, made us look related in a way the party lighting hadn't. Hamilton Consulting had been her future. Not symbolically, literally. Her fiancé was being folded into their leadership track. The engagement announcement had been timed around the proposal. Everyone in that room assumed momentum, only moved forward. They didn't know my husband had walked away from Hamilton 3 years ago. They didn't know why. They didn't know that when your name is still respected in certain rooms, your absence can carry weight. They didn't know I'd said nothing when my sister asked for an introduction last winter, or when she corrected me publicly about not really understanding corporate structures. I let them not know. I didn't mean it, she said finally. What I said earlier. I know, I said, and I did. She believed she was being honest, helpful even. That was the hardest part. I put on my coat. Congratulations, I added. I hope the rest of the night is lovely. Outside, the street was quiet. The city had moved on without us. My phone buzzed again. All set, my husband wrote. Formal notice sent. You okay? I looked back once at the warm glow through the restaurant window. Inside, people were already recalibrating, rewriting the story so it made sense again. Yes, I typed, I am. And for the first time that night, it was entirely true.